Alright everyone, welcome back. It is an altar enshrining the stars. Fire blazes as if to connect heaven and earth. Flickering flames illuminate the dark cave, searing the canopy above. But this is no godly shrine. The sky it connects to is deep underground, and the burning torch is black, not red. The air is murky, the wind is stagnant, and the water oozing down the walls is the color of poison. This underground kingdom is said to have been the lair of a dragon. In fact, it is modeled after the stomach of a dragon. None who visit this place are human. Those who seek salvation in this otherworldly realm, who rejoice in this bizarre sight, must only be the sort of demons who flee in the light of the sun. A skull-masked face chokes in the midst of the realm. Lit by the dark crimson, he is the servant assassin who lost his master to Kire Kotomine.
ここまでか。魔力提供がなくては、もはや体が持たぬ。
The white skull creeps along a wall. Ahead of him stands a girl. Dressed in black curses, she stares absently at the approaching skull.
ようやくたどり着いたか。魔術師殿。姿は見えぬが、御身は健在か。
He stops 5 or 6 meters from the girl. Stuck to a wall like a spider, Assassin calls out into the void.
よく戻ったな、アサシン。
Finally, someone answers. The old mage's voice rings out in the void. The old man should have been eliminated by Kire, but here he is, alive and well. It is only logical. The Zouken motto which was crushed in the forest is no more than a swarm of worms. His real body which anchors his soul to the world sleeps elsewhere in a safe location. Even the priest's holy words cannot destroy the old mage as long as the insects that comprise his real body remains intact.
しかし、手足とも潰されたのは答えたわ。今のわしではお主に起こる魔力も作り出せん。かといって地上で新しい肉を調達するのも手間じゃ。負担をかけるが頃合いか。さくら、アサシンと契約を結べ。バサカを失った今、新しい護衛が必要じゃろ。
The old mage intones an order. The black cursed girl, Sakura Mato, doesn't respond. She ignores the absolute authority of the old man and continues staring out into space with lightless eyes.
何をしておるさくら。わしの言葉が聞けぬというのか。
A threatening current runs beneath his irritated tone. The old man is slightly on edge. He is angry at the girl's ineptitude for losing Berserker and letting Ilya's veil slip away.
さくら、もう一度言うぞ。わしの言葉が聞けぬというのか。
Cold contempt. The girl has never defied the old man when he speaks like that. Not out of fear, but because his dominance is absolute. She does fear him, of course, but she's literally unable to defy him. The reason being her heart is.
待たれよ魔術師殿。この女、もはや精神が壊れてしまっているのではないか。あれほどの念を受け入れているのだ。脆弱な小娘に耐えきれるはずもない。
The old man's irritation vanishes. He returns to calm silence. In this dark crimson pit, there is a sound of slithering worm.
どうやらそのようじゃな。しばらくは持つかと思うたが、幕引きはあっけなかったの。
The old mage sounds both disappointed and utterly enthused. The girl doesn't answer. Her mind has been swallowed by the darkness.
では、予定通りその娘を。
人聞きの悪い予定通りなどではないぞ。あくまで仕方なくじゃ。麻藤さくらの理性は消えてしまった。このままではあの化け物を制御する者がいなくなってしまう。故に非道と知りながらも空洞になった孫娘を食らおうというのではないか。
Well, I think you do have a choice, but you just want to do exactly that and eat your empty granddaughter. He snickers. The laughter comes from the girl's throat. The old mage is laughing using the empty Sakura's vocal cords.
では急ぎ行っていただけぬかな。私の体は消えかけている。早急に魔力をもらわねば消えてしまう。
では始めるとするか。いやはや実に残念だぞさくら。ここまであれを育てたお主じゃ せめて聖杯を手に入れる栄光は譲りたかったのだが仕方あるまい。恨むのなら己を恨め。儀式が間に合わなかったはイリアスフィールを逃したお前の落ち度よ。
A crunching sound. A worm wiggles its way into the girl's neck. It can't be seen. There's no worm crawling under her skin. Not from the outside. There was never any escape for the girl. Not from the twisted thoughts nestled against her heart. Zouken Mato, insect user. His real body, the host for his decaying soul, is the pseudo-nerves innervating Sakura Mato's heart.
体はまだ変わりきっていないが、何贅沢は言わん。その肉体、消えた主に代わってわしが引き継いでやる。さらばださくら。実験作の身でよくぞ耐え抜き、よくぞわしを楽しませた。
There's a slippery sound of wiggling blood vessels. Zouken Mato's unspiritual body orders his worm body to eat the girl's brain. But
その必要はありません、おじいさま。私は大丈夫です。
ha! The girl places a hand on her chest and opens her eyes.
おう、飲まれてしまったかと思うたが、まだ踏みとどまっておったが。うん。ではさくら、ちと事情が変わってな。わしではアサシンを維持できなくなった。少しばかり負担をかけるが、わしの代わりにアサシンと契約するがよい。
The old mage issues a command as he always does. However, the girl shakes her head in denial.
何のつもりかな、さくら。
ですから言ったでしょ、おじいさま。その必要はありませんと。
Her icy voice rings in the gloom. Suddenly, the white skull on the wall is swallowed by something dark and enormous.
何？
Their astonishment comes too late. Assassin's entire body is compressed in a single attack, leaving only his mask intact. That's one way to get rid of him. The mask falls. Beneath the white mask where his face should be is only another skull.
なんだ。どんな顔をしてるかと思えば、もともと顔がない人だったんですね。あなたは顔を隠していたんじゃなくて、素顔を隠すことで顔があると思わせているだけの。
小娘、きさ
顔をなくして名前も捨てて、それでも永遠を求めたなんて。けど残念。永遠を求めるならおじいさまのようにこれからも生き続けることを望まないと。いくら聖杯でも過去に戻ってあなたの名前を取り戻すなんてことはできないんだから。消えなさい、山の主。あなたは何者でもない一人の暗殺者。ただ一人のハサになどなれないわ。
And there goes another servant. The shadow swallows his death cry. The skull masked assassin is devoured without a trace.
貴様正気か？何をするのだこのバカ者め。
The old man's confusion borders on madness. Is he shocked by the sudden development or being driven mad by indescribable terror? The girl laughs at the old man who used to control her.
だってあの人、二度も先輩に手を挙げたでしょ。だから殺しました。だって先輩を傷つけていいのは私だけなんだから。それにおじいさま、おじいさまはもう彼に守られなくてもいいんです。なら彼には暇をあげないとかわいそう。
Hell of a long-lasting vacation, huh? Then there's a wet sound. The girl plunges her fingers into her own body, tearing out the worm burrowed deep inside, in an act of psychic surgery. Ooh. What to call this terror, this confusion? The girl gouges out her own body, tearing her own nerves to shreds, all while giggling coolly.
何をする桜
He wiggles. With lightless eyes, the girl examines the thing that is her grandfather, the thing calling itself her grandfather, the thing that seems to have been her grandfather.
なんだ、やってみたら簡単なんですね。私、おじい様はもっと大きいかと思っていました。
In fact, the worm serving as Zouken Mato's main body was not always this diminutive. The old mage changed his host to a more suitable worm in order to parasitize the girl's heart. To do that, it needed to be smaller than a heart. In retrospect, his eccentric taste turned out to be his downfall.
桜よもや
あの神父さんには感謝しないといけませんね。あの方がおじい様を消してくださらなかったら、本当に私が食べられていたところだった。
She's seen right through him. No, this was inevitable from the beginning. The old mage never bothered to hide his objective, and the girl could not defy his will, so there was no problem. He only ever treated her as an eventual replacement body, so she only had to wait until it was time to raise the flag of rebellion.
待て
Crush him.
違うぞ桜お前に取り付くというのは最後の手段だお前の意識があるのなら門は全てお前に与えるわしは魔党の血統が栄えればそれでよいお前が勝者となり全てを手に入れるのならばそれでよいのだ桜
The worm wiggles. She gently smiles at the filthy creature between her fingers.
それではなおさらですね。だってもうおじい様の手はいりません。あとは私だけでも門を開けることはできますから。
Something inconceivable is happening. The old mage made only one mistake.
待つのだ待ってくれ桜わしはお前のことを思ってやってきたのだぞ
Desperation is real now.
それを恩をあだで返すような真似を
さようならおじい様。200年も地の底でうごめいていたのは疲れたでしょう。さあ、もうお消えになっても結構です。
The old man raised the girl too well. He failed to notice the darkness within her and mistook it for purity. Only the girl remains at the altar. The flickering black blaze delights in the girl's independence, a personification of itself. The dark girl looks at the blood slicking her hand. Well, on the plus side, you got no one controlling you anymore. She stands there emptily, like a puppet with strings cut, her laugh echoing on and on. Nobody comes out to greet us. Ryoda Temple looms over us like a giant hunch in the darkness. I feel some strange power from it. Is the wind blowing up in the sky? I crane my neck to listen and hear howling wind.
階段の上に力を感じます。境内の裏手にある池に何らかの場が作られているようですが。
いいえ、そっちに用はないわ。上で作られてる場は表向きのただ聖杯を欲しがるマスター用のもんよ。聖杯戦争の大元に行こうって言うんなら上じゃなくて下に行かないとね。
Tosaka walks away from the stairs and into the forest.
ライダー、大丈夫か？竜道寺は結界が張ってあるんだろ？サーバントは正門からしか山に入れないって聞いたけど。
多少の重圧はありますが、耐えられるレベルです。それに、中に入りさえすれば、この土地はサーバントにとって最適な霊脈です。大気に満ちたマナを吸い上げれば、回復はたやすい。
そうか。辛いだろうが、少しの間我慢してくれ。
We push our way through the trees, walking through the night. There aren't even any game trails out here, and we mostly have to drop down small cliffs and rock walls.
イリアの話じゃこの辺りなんだけど。シロ、入り口らしきもの見当たらない？
らしきものってなんだよ。
岩肌に人が入れそうな亀裂があるとか、あからさまに怪しい社とかよ。一応入り口なんだから、まさか落とし穴ってわけでもないでしょ。
無茶言うな。星が出てるからって夜の森で周りが見通せるかって。
Oh, I can see pretty well actually. There are withered trees all around us. Maybe we're behind view of the temple now. Of course, there are no man-made buildings in sight. All I see are the dead trees and the bubbling brook. Wait, that means the water must be coming from somewhere.
ライダー、あの小川の先、岩が固まってるよな。真っ暗でよく見えないけど、あれ、もしかして横穴になってないか？
シロ、振り向かないように。
I hear a small metallic sound like a clasp being undone. Vida must have taken off her blindfold.
ありますね。天然の洞穴ですが、人間が入れないこともない。ここからでは1メートルほどで行き止まっているように見えますが。
そっか、助かる。トサがそれらしいものあったみたいだ。
I call it to Tosaka and head down the stream. It turned out to be only a spring rather than a river. It's flowing from several piles of rocks, and we finally come across an opening that one person can fit through. The rocks remind me of igloos. One could tell at a glance that you'd hit a rock as soon as you stepped inside, and no sane person would even think of entering.
当たり。この岩簡単にすり抜けるわ。
Tosaka goes inside without looking back.
先にどうぞ。後ろは私が守ります。
I nod at Ryder and venture into the darkness. I make scraping sounds on the stone. I feel my way forward with my hands on the wet ground. The ground begins to slope dramatically. It's tight and claustrophobic in the darkness. I'll tumble down the infinite darkness unless I slowly go down on my back. In the dark, I make a slow descent, sprawled on the angled rock. The way ahead is dark and I can't tell how far down this goes. I can only hear my breathing.
シロ、今のうちに聞いておく。
Then, Tosaka suddenly talks to me from ahead.
いいけど、なんだ？
宝石剣、なんで作ってくれたの？
Her tone is bored, like she's making small talk to kill time because she's tired of climbing down.
なんでって、なんでさ。
だから、私はさくらを殺すって言ってるのよ。そんな私に武器を預けていいのかってこと。
I nod in the dark. Tosaka's right, of course.
よくない。よくないけど、遠坂がいないと桜は助けられない。桜を助けたいんなら、一人より二人の方が確実だろ。それに、剣を投影するのは約束だった。俺は遠坂との約束を果たせなかった。だから、もう一つの約束だけはきちんと守りたかったんだ。
It was quite a while ago. After I lost Saber, I asked Tosaka for help. She helped me, and I made her a promise. I would make her win. I promised to make Tosaka the victor of the Holy Grail War. I can't keep that promise anymore, so I wanted to at least keep my other one. At that time, for Rin Tosaka, the girl I liked at the time who believed in me when I had nothing left.
そう。律儀ね、あなた。
なあ、遠坂ほどじゃないけどな。
The darkness goes still again. Our conversation ends there. We don't look at each other. We just stoically descend to the infernal depths. Our long path seems to take us through the underworld itself. It's a winding path and my body feels like it's walked more than 100 meters. We turn to find ourselves facing a dark cavern. The one-man wide path becomes an ever deeper passage. We don't need any illumination. Some sort of luminescent moss suffuses the cavern with a green glow. The passage teems with life energy. It feels so raw. It's an air of birthing, filled with vitality that seems to celebrate life. Abundant, odd, and flowing mana as far as the eye can see. It's so raw that it makes me nauseous. The warmth of radiant life is so filthy I want to turn away from it. Everyone's quiet. I have nothing to say. This is a land of death. Talking to Tosaka would lower my guard enough to get me killed.
行くわよ。ここからは自分の命を優先して。
Tosaka goes deeper down the passage towards the source of the dark air. Vara and I move forward, keeping an eye on our surroundings. I see something red on the ground. These are unmistakably bloodstains. The blood splatter continues in the cave. Did someone get here before us? Were they wounded so badly that they bled everywhere they walked?
シロ、
すまない、すぐ行く。
I shake off the premonitions and keep walking. I can't afford to worry about anyone else right now. If I lose focus, my mind will shut off. Worrying about extra things could erase me entirely. I grip the pendant tightly in my right hand. I use the pain to remind myself who I am and step into the verdant dark. A tepid breeze caresses my cheeks. We come to the end of the passage, which opens into a larger cavern. It's as wide as the school grounds. I can't see the ceiling in the murk, but it could be as high as 10 meters. There are no signs of life. The forgotten underground wasteland reminds me of the pictures of the moon's surface I saw in books long ago. There stands Saber, waiting for us. Ooh. She's the only one in the cave. I don't see Sakura, Zouken, or Assassin. Only the darkened swordswoman blocks our path.
Saber.
She wouldn't have anything to say to me. Of course not. Saber's only job is to eliminate intruders. She's the gatekeeper and executioner here. She's the strongest servant protecting Sakura, and she could take us both alone.
話し合いで通してくれるって雰囲気じゃなさそうね。
Tosaka arms herself with a jeweled sword she kept behind her waist, keeping her stance low. She intends to attack from the front. I don't know what powers that sword has, but she seems to think it will work in a clash against Saber. But it won't go well. I know Saber, so there's ways to deal with her. We shouldn't reveal our only secret weapon while Zouken and Assassin could still be waiting.
遠坂待て、セイバーは。
リン、私にはあなたと争う理由はない。くれぐれも間違いで私に剣を向けないように。あなたをここで。
Saber's quiet voice is the same as ever. It stops right in her tracks. Tosaka and I both know what that means.
どういうつもり？あなたはここの門番よね、セイバ
ー。はい。相手が何者であれ、ここを通る者は消去する。それが桜の命令です。ですが。
私は例外。桜の方から会いたがってるってわけ？
Saber nods wordlessly.
そう。本気なんだ、桜。
She murmurs briefly. After a big sigh, Tosaka walks towards Saber.
遠坂。
悪いわね。そういうわけだから先に行かせてもらうわ。
Tosaka boldly walks past Saber, just before she blends into the dark.
シロ、あんたがどうなるかは知らないけど、私は信頼してるんだから、ちゃんと期待に応えてよね。
You betcha. Huh? Hold on. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that vague statement. Not that my brain's working very well right now.
だから、蹴りがついた後に来られて文句言われるのも迷惑だってこと。さくらを助けたいって言うなら、あんまり遅くならないようにね。
Tosaka's long hair whips through the air, and she disappears into the depths of the cave without looking back. Thanks, Tosaka. That boosted my spirits. In other words, telling me to come before she settles the score with Sakura was her roundabout way of cheering me on.
それは不可能です。あなたはここで死ぬのですから。シロ。
Saber's bloodlust swells. Tosaka's gone, leaving only me. I suppose that in this situation, Saber doesn't need to hide her hostility anymore.
殺すとは聞き捨てなりませんね。あなたが手にかけるのは、この道を通る者のみ。 彼がこの場にとどまるのならあなたに襲われることはないはずですが。
とどまるのならばそうしよう。だがその男はどうあっても先に進む。違いますか、ライダー。
そう。先に仕えていたのはあなただったわね、セイバー。彼の性格知っていて当然ということ。
Saber narrows her eyes. She holds a black dyed sacred sword in her hands. She's coming. Me or Ryder. If either of us takes so much as a step forward, Saber will rush in to cut us down with a single blow.
セイバー、どうあっても引かないんだな。
くどい。それが私の役割と言った。
I grasp the holy shroud covering my left arm. Saber doesn't show a hint of doubt. We're enemies now. That's the undeniable truth that I saw for myself in the forest that night. And I answer.
そうか。なら、ここでお前を消滅させる。
I have to accept it.
俺は桜を助ける。そのために、お前は邪魔だ。
Saber isn't my only enemy. I still need to deal with Assassin and Zouken, who is responsible for all of this. I can't let this take up any more of our time.
シロ、あなたは後ろに。指示通り、セイバーの相手は私がします。
Ryder pushes me behind her while removing her blindfold. Saber raises her sword. The tip of her sword is already keenly focused on Ryder.
バカ言うな。二人がかりでやるって言っただろう。ライダーじゃセイバーには。
倒せないまでも押しとどめることはできる。幸いセイバーは魔眼よけの特性を持っていません。魔力で上回る彼女を石化することはできませんが、重圧をかけることはできる。全力でかかれば2分は拮抗できるでしょう。
2 minutes? At maximum? Ryder's eyes focus on Saber. They can turn everything they see to stone, and they can weaken Saber temporarily.
状況は私が作ります。あなたは動かず、気を逃さぬよう気を配りなさい。
ライダ
ー。では、私の命はあなたに預けます。シロ。
Ryder vanishes. She charges the dark night at extreme speed, raising a gust of wind. Human eyesight can't even perceive Ryder's godlike speed. Saber casually knocks her back.
いいだろう。まずはあなたが消えろ、ライダー。
An enormous pressure suffuses the cave. The black swordsman smiles coldly and calmly begins to move. Her field of view expands. As soon as she leaves the darkness, Rin Tosaka forgets that she's underground. She sees an infinitely high canopy and a black sun. This massive space is no cave. It's a desolate land. It's easily 3 kilometers in diameter. A giant monolith stands in the distance. It is the beginning of this war, and the end. Once she climbs the precipice, she should see a giant crater. Therein lies a system that's even operating for 200 years. A dark pillar burns inside the bowl of the huge rock containing the giant magic circle called the Greater Grail. The black shadow pulsates. A wave of magical energy leaks out from something within, illuminating the wasteland. According to the Tosaka archives, it's called the Altar of the Beginning. In its very center lies a circular cloister, a heart world.